I don't want to do this today. I don't want to do this today. But if I have to, I'm gonna lay down for it. I'm not even gonna think about what a curmudgeon I look like crawling over there. Look, I'm out of breath. I've been putting off this video last couple of days. I really didn't feel it. So I thought I'd just lay down, just talk like this for today. So it's the start of week 5, and last week I wrote my morning pages every day, but not always in the morning. Some days I got up a little bit later or just did other things, and then I wrote my pages in the evening or the afternoon. That's so nice to lay down. I really don't feel like sitting up right now. And I have a concert. It's not a concert, it's a short performance. Tonight I could fall asleep right now. There's an artist exhibition called 777, and that's happening. It'll be my 3rd time participating. I don't feel like being seen right now. I don't feel like being on a stage. I gotta wash my hair. I just want to stay home. But I was home a lot the last couple of days. Also, it started raining here again. That wasn't so nice. When I felt inspired to do this video a couple of days ago, I didn't have the time for it or the space. Like, I was busy, had to go. Went to Berlin on Friday for my performance. Had a full-length concert on Friday. I learned so much from that night. Well, first of all, maybe I gotta move this thing. First of all, Berlin is a crazy city, I really gotta say. I'm thankful to live in a place where it's a little bit, a little slower. Pace is a bit slower. Will that work? Pace is a bit slower, and I appreciate that because every time I'm going to Berlin, it's just really overwhelming my nervous system, I notice. Ooh, you can hear all my sniffs and my snorts. And then when I get back to Leipzig, I feel like, oh, thank goodness I live in a quieter, slower city, because I think Berlin would really mess me up. So, in itself, the concert was, I would say it was a good concert. I was honestly disappointed that not so many people came, but very thankful for those who did come. And this is the 2nd concert this year, including the one at Cafetera, which I just came from there. I was just there having a coffee. I love the space. But the thing that interests me about planning a concert is when I do a concert donation based on the basis of donation, then I never know actually how many people are going to come. I know it's different when you actually do ticket sales and then have people buy their tickets, and then when you already spent money for a ticket, then you probably feel more inclined, obligated to actually go. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of competition, especially on the weekend, for different events happening. So I was very much thankful for a sweet, sweet couple who came out that night specifically for the show, and to the friends who were there, and to the folks who passed by along the street and came in to listen for a song or two. And at the same time, logistically, it just doesn't make sense to have shows where I'm really not recovering the cost whatsoever of the performance, not of the train ticket, nor the food for the day, the drinks for the day, the costume, the practice, the instruments, everything. The friend who came, shout out to Alex for mixing the show, the support, it's just not sustainable to have performances where there's really no financial win. I know there are so many other reasons to perform, but I'm definitely thinking about this topic right now. Because when I've had other shows, like even in Chemnitz 2 weeks ago, like that was on the financial side, it was worth it. Like worth the ticket, the ride, the materials that go into the show, the hours of work that go into the show, not even including the preparation. Because like for one concert that's an hour and a half long plus a short break, um, 2 hours of being in the space plus being there an hour or two before the show and setting everything up with the sound. Um, so let's call it 4 hours. Plus, I would say about 2 or 3 hours go into like actually preparing the set, and then 2 hours total of travel, 9 hours. Mm, maybe 2 or 3 total hours of promoting the show, and an hour of like booking and writing and everything. So that's like 13, 14 hours of work. Um, so then in the end, I came out with maybe like $12 an hour. Yeah. But if I think of it in other terms, I raised in one night almost the amount of production costs for one song. So that's another way of putting it. Like one concert equals almost one song produced, recorded. It was a good idea to lay down. Somehow I'm not trusting that it's still recording, but I think it is. Let me just double check. Oh, it is. Okay. I feel like a cat today. Cat. I'm a kitty cat. I go meow, 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 meow. So week 4, maybe while I'm up, let me get up and get that book real quick. So last week was all about, when I have a show, it like takes me out for a couple of days. So I'm kind of glad this is going to be the last planned performance until my workshop at the end of May. It's already April. So I'm not reading actually what's in my morning pages. Sometimes I skim a little bit just for the weekly review, but that's just to double check on what I actually did, because sometimes I'm forgetting. And the focus for week 4 was integrity, which is so interesting because even on Sunday, like the sermon was all about like honesty and yeah, like the danger to the spirit of like telling lies, honestly. And how like, I mean, the way I interpret it is like, but the lesson that I take from it is like we can never hide from the divine, and even if I'm telling a lie, like a little white lie or something to somebody, like God knows and sees that, and it's not so much about like punishment or retribution, but just knowing that it doesn't sit well in my spirit when I'm dishonest to myself, to others. So integrity was the topic this week, sorting out, real versus official feelings. So it's so relevant, it's like how we present, the difference between how I present myself to the world and how I'm actually feeling on the inside. So if I'd waited any longer, then I wouldn't have gotten this video in this week, because I really don't feel like showing myself, because it's been a hard couple of days, honestly. So yeah, and I'm not used to showing myself when I'm in that space, so I waited for it to pass for the most part, but it's still tricky, so I'm laying down today before my performance. There was the topic of how growth takes on different forms. So sometimes growth is not presenting itself as like a big drastic change in our lives, but that like subtle changes are taking shape little by little. And another big topic was this idea of learning to rest in motion. This week was calling for some resting, mostly not. I'm not usually in motion while I'm resting. One of the challenges last week was to schedule an artist day date, like a whole day. And last Thursday, my date with myself was to prepare my balcony garden for the planting season. And I cleared away the debris, I swept the floor, I de-dusted. I dusted the shelves and wiped them down and rearranged all my gardening tools and made a plan. I put in the new earth in all the beds, and I made a plan for what I'm going to plant this year. And it was a really warm couple of days, like last Thursday through Saturday. It was pretty much summer weather, and I really enjoyed that sun. And I spent the day just, a few hours of doing like physical labor. And then I just laid and napped in the sun, and then I napped inside, and I oh, what was the other thing that I did? Then I got a pizza for myself, and I watched television. But I canceled my Netflix a while ago, so I don't watch any like streaming. I mean, with like I have a smart. I don't know why I'm looking up. Like look it up. I have a smart TV, so it's really a simple thing. I got it secondhand, and there's already like built-in access then to like the German cable TV, which actually like there are shows from like decades ago. Even like Yo MTV, no, Pimp My Ride. Pimp My Ride is on. I can watch Pimp My Ride like 24/7. Like just all of the episodes just go through. So um, and I watched a documentary about Mesopotamia. Either I'm watching like a nature or archaeological documentary, or I'm not really big into soap operas. I'm not watching the Taga show. Taga show. No, maybe it's a good thing. The news, I guess, whatever. I also journaled studyism. I studied journalism, but I'm like, and I don't want to. It's fine. It's like a part of the culture for a lot of people here. Like every night at 8 o'clock, you watch the Taga show, but I'm not into that. And yeah, that was my artist date with myself, and I enjoyed my own presence, and I enjoyed the comfort of my home as well before having a wonderful day on Friday. Before going to Berlin. It was a long travel. I feel like I'm just rambling today, but that's okay. The whole point is just to have a little check in with myself. Moving forward, there was one thing I wanted to talk about. Was one of the tasks for last week was the reading deprivation. So I was not supposed to read all week, which for an avid reader, like I had a sense of resistance toward this and was like, not gonna happen. There's no way. And I was like, I've been gnawing on a juicy novel. I don't read a lot of novels, but I love to read novels written by Black women. And so I am reading, I showed it in one of the last videos, Weltenwechsel from Marion Kraft. And I'm almost done with it. I have 2 more chapters. And I had 5 chapters left. And then I had to stop. I stopped reading for the week. And also, like, I was getting ready to finish, like, also a chapter in my Bible study. And then I was like, okay, I guess I see the point of it, like trying to reduce the amount of input that's coming and increase the amount of like silence and availability for inspiration to come. But what did I do? I didn't read, but I definitely was doom scrolling a lot more, and I read in the way of like allowing multimedia messages, multimedia content to enter my attention, and I gave a lot of attention just like to the screen. And man, I freaking there's my Ohio coming out. Sometimes I wish that social media didn't exist. Honestly, like this is ridiculous. I'm laying in my living room taking a video of myself speaking into like this little microphone, and this is supposed to be a letter to my future self. Why don't I just sit down and actually write a letter? I don't know. But I committed to this, so I'm gonna do it once a week. It feels ridiculous. It feels absolutely ridiculous. Even while promoting my song. Okay, yeah, right. That's a big thing that just happened on Sunday. My third single was released. Whoa! He Will Carry Me Home. And I completed a lot of things on my release checklist, but there's still like so many things I have to do with like a couple more registrations, and I totally dropped the ball on actually, did I even send it to my mailing? I definitely sent the announcement to my mailing group, but I forgot to send, or I didn't send the actual on the day of the release. I still have to send that email. I have a good system for myself, but and I sent it to a bunch of my people through WhatsApp, but I still have Telegram and Facebook Messenger because they're like honestly like different groups of people on different platforms, and posting it on Instagram is not actually it doesn't cover all of the channels, and but for some reason Instagram has become like this center of attention when it comes to promotion. And then meanwhile, I started working on one funding application, and then I recognized like, wow, I don't have partnerships. Like I have a kind of concept in my head for what I would like to do for this one funding for outer ear. But then I was like, wow, I really can't do this by myself, and I don't know why I waited and, try to do this by myself instead of seeking out partnerships before. Then I was like, well, that one's not going to work out. And then the one for Initiative Musik for the Künstlerförderung, I started the process, and then I was like, I got to the beginning where they ask you the questions of like, have you in the last 20, have you had 20 concerts in the last year? I was like, no, I've been sick most of the time. And then it was like, do you finance your life mostly with your music? And I was like, also not. At least not now. I think there was a time when when I had really low living costs and was just like working on musical projects with kids. It would have been the case. I didn't know about this stuff before though, but it's fine. And then the question of like, right, and the 20 concerts should also be like outside of my region. So I was like, well, damn, I've only been performing in this region. And then, combined with just like an inflow of like so many rejections from different festivals and showcases and other funding, like I just got a lot of rejection letters in the last 2 weeks. So that really messed up my motivation. And then they asked the question of, do you have at least a thousand followers on a social media platform? And I was like, yes, 1,100. Yeah, and then as I went through this application, like they ask for how many monthly streams do you have on Spotify? And I was like, fuck Spotify. I'm not even posting my music on there. How many followers do you have on TikTok? And I was like, fuck TikTok. I just made a profile so I can take down the one song that I uploaded to TikTok, which I actually don't want on TikTok anymore, but I've been waiting 2 months for their reply. So it just feels like this whole system is so fucked. I didn't want to swear on this, but I'm honestly like so out of energy. I'm just swearing. Ah. Scrub a dub dub. Okay. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say, but I would say motivation's pretty low. Despite like, the success of putting out a third song, it feels so great, but the thing that really poisons it all is just the comparison to what other artists are doing and seeing their successes and feeling like this sense of fear as well of how long am I actually going to have to do this before things really start to kick off. And I've been dragging my feet on booking shows for the summer, so it hasn't really been a nice week. Yeah, that's where I am right now. Okay, I think that's enough for today. Otherwise, I'm gonna fall asleep, and I should drink some tea and wash my hair. I gotta wash my hair and get dressed for this performance, which I really don't feel like doing, but I think it's gonna be a good time, and I'll get a great video, so at least I'll have that. It's not paid, but I'll get a good video. Man, this system is so fucked. But why do I want to be a part of it? Because I love the music and because I feel called to do the music. So just gotta keep my eyes on the music because that's the way, like, that's a way that I keep my eyes on God as well. Like, this music is really keeping me in touch with Him. So, okay, that's enough for today.